7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
So we're Team Snax. Our application is called Snax Search, and these are group members. So what is Snax? So Snax aims to improve the shopping experience for the average shopper and shopkeeper by reducing the amount of time spent inside a shopping store and creating a pressure-free environment to shop in. So how might we do this, you might ask? Well, Snax is an application platform which uses machine learning algorithms to feed off foot traffic and product locations to map out the most efficient route for the user when it comes to finding their grocery list. And so we provided a set analysis table to show a digestible way for customers to see why Snax would impact their lives and shopping experience. So in terms of social aspect, well, there's less time to waste because they're saving that time so they can be productive elsewhere. There's less contact with retail associates because there's an increased dependence on the app. And ultimately, there's accessible routes in store for those who may have trouble walking, because now there's less customers spent wandering around the store, not knowing where to find their items. In an economic sense, well, there's a decreased need for retail associates. There's a higher checkout value, as shoppers won't, face that dilemma of wondering on whether or not their grocery item is in that store or not. There's weighted foot traffic so that shopkeepers can use that to their advantage to organize their products around the store better. And in a technology sense, well, there's machine learning algorithms that ultimately optimize the ideal path of travel for customers so that they save time. And so just a little bit of our ideation process. How did we come up with this idea? Well, first we started off by brainstorming areas of opportunity in the retail industry. We identified the inefficiency in the shopping experience, specifically when it comes to locating all the items that they came to get. And then we just conducted market research and solidified our startup idea. And then we just ended up prototyping and testing at the VIP grand opening. So this picture on the right is our low fidelity prototype that we use in class to get a feel for our idea and just basic logistics. So pretty much we have a simple store layout with wooden popsicle sticks labeled with different product categories. And then on the right of that, we have two different shopping lists. So they have the same items, but both lists, or one list has the items organized into product categories, and then the other list just has the items listed as a plain old boring list. So the first list is supposed to help the user and mimic the role that our app would play in finding their products. So that's what our low fidelity prototype is supposed to accomplish. And ultimately, we used it to see if our idea would actually prove effective.
Okay, so to go over some of our sketches which inspired our low fidelity prototype, we wanted to outline our features first. The first thing we did was create a price listing so we could see all the prices, compare, add, and create. The second one, we wanted to show quantities and see different how you can add it to the map. The third one is just literally mapping it out and showing us what kind of layout it is based on the store that we select. And then these ones are just simple editing and adding and moving. They were very early, so it wasn't as robust as it is in our prototype now, but it is still there nonetheless. And lastly, we had a check system that would help the user, hey, did you pick up the item? Did you not pick up the item? And if it did, we disappear. If not, it's remain on the map. Unfortunately, these didn't make it into our final prototype, but these are some of the things that we would show on the employee or owner side, where they'd be able to change the layout in the store. Additionally, make stock marking, so if it was out of stock, they could mark that, not that they wouldn't. And then even customers input that as well, saying, hey, something's out of stock, let's fix that.
So when researching our product to see if there was a need for this in the market, consumer reports indicate that the average American spends 41 minutes or more shopping. The average shopper goes to the grocery store about 1.6 times or more a week. Over 40% of shoppers say that they need to go to more than one grocery store to get all the items that they need. So we found that there would be a need for this, and then through our own product research, through surveys that we conducted, we found that 70% of the people spend 30 or more minutes shopping, and a majority of those want to just spend less time shopping. And when asked about what they dislike about the shopping process, a lot of the things that came up more than a couple of times are overcrowded aisles, locating items, and items being out of stock.
So our application falls under the grocery industry, and just some quick metrics about the industry itself. Over the past couple of years, it's been steadily growing at a rate of about 2.3% with recent spikes due to COVID, surprisingly. And also 83% of shoppers prefer going to a traditional store, grocery store complex or store as compared to like drugstores, warehouse clubs, or other gourmet grocers. And just some observations that we made through our research. So nationwide labor shortages are bound to leave customers looking for an alternative to floor associates. Larger grocery stores are intentionally designed to maximize the time and money spent by the average shopper. And we're also seeing a mobile trend where more brick and mortar first stores are expanding to supporting mobile apps as well. And millennials make up one of the largest age groups, or a little over 40% of the US population, and they highly value saving time and convenience. And so catering to this demographic is of our utmost priority. And so basically, as millennials grow older and wages increase, we believe there's going to be more of an emphasis and desire in saving time, as well as convenience behind certain routines. And so rises in minimum wage will also lead to stores looking for additional ways to maximize their profits. And outcompeting solely on price is no longer going to be sustainable, especially for the smaller stores as the prices per product begin to converge. And opportunities are thus bound to rise as stores aggressively compete for market dominance.
So for the personas that we created for this, we have 3 different personas that we're targeting. One of them was a college student, the second the shopper, and then we're also targeting shopkeepers. And then when comparing features of our product to others, the one that we found most prominent was the guided shopping list that others didn't have. And one that we didn't have ourselves compared to others was a list sharing feature to share like lists with other people and buy those products separately and combine them.
So here's a visual of our direct and indirect competitors. What direct competitors are apps that have the same audience and service that we're offering, which basically is to make a grocery list and map it out in stores. Some advantages that these apps have are that you're able to create multiple shopping lists and create routes based on your store layout. Some disadvantages are that they're customer-driven and standalone apps, meaning like it prompts users to have to think more when they're using the app. For indirect competitors, we have grocery delivery services such as Instacart and Amazon Go. The advantages to using these apps is that customers save the most time here as groceries are delivered straight to their door. However, some disadvantages are that these services can be expensive and sometimes workers can be unfairly treated.
So to summarize our competitor research, we found that clear visuals are a must, sharing is caring, and simply that your list should be as effective as your map is. And then some insight is that it's a highly vetted process, but we don't know as to the extent of how vetted it is because not many people have explored this kind of idea. There are competitors that we did explore, but not nearly enough that we thought. And so we gave the feasibility, viability, and desirability ratings based on how we thought the market, how our competitors were structured. So for our prototype, you can see that our sketches did inspire the majority of our core features. So again, we have the list over here. You can add it, and it'll also, once you click the plus sign, it'll ask for a quantity as well as whether or not you want to add it right now or later, and as well as show different brands. And then at the core is the map itself, based on whatever layout you're exploring. So it shows where you might want to be. So cucumbers, for example, broccoli, ice cream, milk, you name it. And then lastly, we give you a little bit of a summary based on the prices that the store has in their management system, as well as how much you picked up. And it'll be like, hey, here's your subtotal, here's your tax, and here's your potential total.
So here's a poster from the VIP grand opening where we engaged in user testing. And one thing we learned from testing our prototype was that multiple participants misunderstood the function of certain buttons based on how they were named. For example, in our original prototype, we had input name for creating a new list name, but a lot of people misunderstood that as putting in what grocery item we were searching for. Another thing we got was a suggestion from a participant, which includes a feature where you can compare prices across different brands. So based on this feedback, we can also introduce a new feature which categorizes items by price, like having them set it as low to high or by popularity.
And so these are just images associated with our app. So we have two different forms of branding: Snax search, redefining retail through innovation, driving excellence in retail, and then that little GIF, which again aims to promote our brand.
So our landing page, what we did was we made it simple. We put a video at the top so that we can show what our app is about. Then we have a little headliner as well as a blurb, just to again give summary to people, like what we're doing, what we're offering people, and how we're doing it. And give them a sample screen so that they're a little bit more interested, and then that way they hit the big download button right at the bottom. And then we also offered our links just in case they want to reach out and see any of our social media.
So this is the explainer video. We gotta get out of the
Yep. Come on, man, do the trick. Do the trick.
Spend less time in a store crossing off a
It's not. There we go. It's on the other screen. Sorry. There we go. That's what it wanted to do.
Probably spend less time in a store crossing off a shopping list as opposed to spending time with friends and family or going for a joyride. That's why over at Snax, we're actively developing ways to save you time in your shopping trips without harming the businesses or stores. Our mobile app, Snax Search, lets you do just that. With our intuitive UI and some fancy tech, we enable you as a shopper to cross off your grocery list in a fraction of the time it currently takes, leaving you more time to do the things that you love. Snax Search is a new way to shop. Head over to the Snax Search app now to learn more about our product and get started. What will you do with the extra time? So here we have the link to our 3 different social media outlets. We created a Twitter, an Instagram, and a Facebook. So all 3 outlets use informative posts through the form of infographics and simple reminders to show why our target groups should ultimately use our app. And so if you were to click on each one, it'll lead you to the page and you're able to engage with the post if you like.
So for our emails, we once again targeted our persona specifically. On the left, we have a college student one, which has more, where we present the picture first because we understand that audiences that at a younger age tend to like to see the visuals before they see the words and everything behind it. That way it's kind of like a hook for themselves. Average customers, we thought about the elderly and thought about a way to hook them in with specific key languages, like you might have trouble seeing signs, so why look for signs when you can just look at your app? And then with our parents and our shopkeepers, we made it about the time that you save so that you can spend it elsewhere. So if you're a parent, you would likely want to spend time with your family, and that was what we targeted with our ads.
So here we have the digital ads that we created for each persona. And each of these have different headings, different subheadings to cater to different audiences with different needs.
So here's our strategy sheet for the next month or so. We plan on going marketing intensive for our strategy. That means definitely posting to our social media almost every day, if not every other day. And then definitely hitting home on the branding aspect of things, just handing out merchandise. And we also plan on having physical advertisements on billboards and outside of our partner stores, such as Bonds or Walmart. And so just our key takeaways from this project. Moving forward, we plan on closely monitoring app usage data to direct our app towards improving the average shopping experience. We've noticed that product-first apps tend to do better than otherwise. And also through our demo day, we've observed that users are wanting more features such as price comparison across brands and stores, and which we are definitely going to plan on implementing. Demo Day also broadened our general knowledge of businesses and how to make it profitable. So moving forward, we plan on exploring more ways to increasing revenue for our platform. And we're also actively entertaining various ideas for additional monetization avenues, such as the implementation of a subscription model or different services as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job, guys. A couple comments. I thought that it was really great how you demonstrated that your ads were based on your personas. We saw those different things in there. It read real quick, and that was just exactly what we were looking for in that. I think that the more that I've seen your app over time, the more I've started to kind of internalize how I would learn it, which helps me see more in the potential for your app. In fact, I had to go shopping for my wife. She had a list, and then I had a list. And I was going through halfway through hers, and then realized I had to go back and do mine from a different perspective. And I'm like, oh man, I wish their app was good because I wouldn't have to make 3 trips through all this stuff. So I'm starting to see much more of that potential in what you see the opportunity in it. So overall, I thought you did a real good job on your presentation. You guys have any comments?
Yeah, the one thing that really stood out for me was the way you've kind of positioned the app for the customers as well as the shopkeepers. I think that kind of spread is really good. And the fact that you kind of moved, when you're talking about like branding and advertising, you were showing parents and shopkeepers together, just because there are certain things about them which are similar. I think that is pretty unique, because most often you just look at the average customer and the average shopkeeper, but that is a good break.
Yeah.
Well done.
You guys did a ton of like market research, and I feel like you really found your place like in the field. I have a lot of respect for when you're doing like competitive analysis and stuff, you didn't give yourself, like I feel like you tried to like objectively look at your business, and you didn't give yourself like the perfect 5 stars. Because honestly, when I see other people kind of try to present it being like it's just all check marks, I'm more skeptical. I feel like portraying yourself as like saying that we're not perfect, but it's still a good idea, that makes me like trust you. So I thought that was a good choice.
Overall, very good presentation. Congratulations, guys.